Playing Nice by J.P. Delaney, published by Quercus, and this is a psychological thriller that is set mainly in North London. Now, I came across J.P. Delaney, and I do have to say I really like his books, when he was writing as Anthony Capella, and I hadn't put the two together at all, and as Anthony Capella, he writes kind of more continental, more mystery books that I really enjoyed. So he's worth looking up under that nom de plume. At the heart of this book is the Judgment of Solomon, which is from the Bible, where two women claim that they have the same baby, and they've been living together in the same house. One of their babies has died, and King Solomon has to judge which mum should actually take the baby and care for it. And so he has little ruse, and it all gets very well sorted because he's a very wise man. Now, forward to the storyline, and we have Pete and Maddie, and they're pregnant and they give birth to Theo. Now, his birth is premature and they're in a private hospital. It all goes terribly wrong, and he has to go across to the newborn intensive care unit in an NHS hospital and be cared for there. 2 years down the line, and somebody called Miles just pops up on the doorstep and announces that his child and Pete's child got swapped. And Pete is just aghast, as you can imagine, and yet in Miles he can see his son Theo, and in Miles' son David he can see Maddie, his partner. So it is from that point on I was beginning to think, don't let Miles across your doorstep. He can inveigle himself in there. What are you doing? Check it out. But Pete and Maddie kind of go along with it and just accept the status quo. A kind of friendship builds, and Pete and Maddie invite Miles and his wife Lucy to be the godparents to Theo, and Miles and Lucy live, a very kind of rich life, very different to Pete and Maddie, and it's all tappy-lapping along okay. But then there are just small, sneaky changes where the author kind of really ramps up the pathos, and you can just almost begin to sort of think, the boundaries here aren't very safe. And so eventually when Theo goes to play at David's, David is actually quite a sickly child. Theo is really robust. And things start to slide. The boundaries aren't tight enough, and you just sort of look and think, gosh, is this not going to end well for these guys? So this turns out to be a roller coaster ride for the young couple with looking after Theo, and there are wonderful twists and turns, and they have to come up against the system. So Kafkas gets involved, which is the social workers have to preside over what is going on between the two of them, and so from friendship there develops something very different. So I have to say I really enjoy J.P. Delaney's storytelling. It's always kind of like it's got a good sense of rhythm, and he always takes a story and then kind of gives it a bit of a nudge and looks at it from a totally different point of view, which makes it original and fresh. So I think this is a really good book to pick up, and it had me riveted. I read it on my Kindle, and I probably got through it in maybe a couple of days. So good one to pick up, and J.P. Delaney always has a slightly quirky twist to his writing and storytelling.